Hey everyone, Brandon with Your Right Website here. Today I have a fun little video for you. We're going to be looking at some websites for local businesses and taking a look at them from a design and functionality perspective. I'm going to be taking a look and see what looks good and what doesn't, and giving my thoughts as to how these websites can be improved from a design and functionality perspective. If you want to see what makes a good website design, stick around and we're going to take a look in this video. So let's get started. Let's jump right in and take a look at some websites for local businesses. I'm going to start off by searching for roofers in a nearby town. So let's see what comes up if we look at the businesses. We're going to scroll past the sponsored websites and we're going to take a look just at the local businesses. Click more businesses and we're going to go to the first one that has a website. So let's load up their website. So looking at this website, the first thing I see is this here. The way people expect websites to work, that's typically the area for your logo. Now, if you don't have a logo for your business, really at this point in time, there's no excuse for not having a logo. There's so many great tools like Canva and other AI-generated tools that you can use to easily create a logo for your business. So this area here, this should be a logo first off. Second, there's this banner here, which I think they're using that as their logo. And that really doesn't work. It's taking up a lot of extra screen real estate that doesn't need to be taken up. You see, you got this big grayish black bar here just for this, where ideally this would be condensed and moved to here. Taking a look at their navigation, they have a home link. Sometimes this is okay, but usually users know to click the logo to go to the web page home. So I'm not going to fault them for having a home link, but it's not necessary. Let's see if any of these are multiple levels. It looks like they're not. I would also recommend services should probably be the first thing in your menu. Because that's really what people are coming to you for. They want to know, what services do you offer? And then I'd probably put about, maybe testimonials. I'd maybe rearrange the order of this gallery. That's a pretty important one. I think the way it is now, I think services, though, definitely has the highest weight. And I would also add a call to action button to this navigation. So they've got contact here. I would actually add a button to the far right here that's to reach out, whether that's a contact form or a button with the phone number where you click the button and it launches your dialer on your phone. I think there's some ways to improve that navigation. Next, scrolling down to this slideshow, the first thing I notice is this slideshow, you click it and it continues to rotate. If the user clicks to view a slide, it should not continuously rotate. Clicking should be a stop action. Okay, so after a few seconds, the slideshow did start back up. That's kind of a no-no. If the user has paused a slideshow, it means that the user wants to see the item that they clicked on. And it can be distracting if a slideshow automatically restarts once a user has selected that they want a specific option. I also usually do not recommend slideshows because the user doesn't have the attention span to get to the future slides. Like on a website like this, I think the user is just going to scroll down and they want the actual meat of the website. So what I would recommend for a site like this is just having a single image that represents what you're doing. In this case, roofing. So I would find one probably that's more elegant. And I would probably tweak these images a bit. Maybe this one or maybe this one. There's probably a different angle that could be used. But I would extend the area of this hero area, removing this banner, make it taller, and I would actually move the text up on top of the image. And the text here that's being used about the company, I would put something very clear that in the first few seconds what the website does. So I would put G-Climb Roofing is your local Geneva roofing expert. And I would put that, and then I would put some supporting text below that. So I think this about is good. It's good to have an about section, but I would move this further down the page, and I would replace this picture of the roof actually with a picture of the owner. Scrolling down to their services, I really don't think this red and gray combo works. It's very visually distracting. I also think for a grid like this, you really should have an image of these different items. People like to click on pictures. So having a picture gives people a quick way to see what they're interacting with. With this as it is, there's not a lot of visual interest, and the colors may actually kind of encourage users to skip this section just because it's a very bright, very contrasty color look without any pictures. And I'm looking at the rest of the page, and I actually don't see the red color used anywhere else. I'm actually seeing kind of a mix of colors. I'm seeing this light blue here for the navigation. I'm seeing this darker blue for the button, seeing multiple button colors. I'm seeing this red, seeing the gray again, seeing blue. Well, this is Facebook, so I can't fault them for that. Yeah, looking at it, the colors are all different. I usually recommend for sites that they have three or so colors, usually a primary color, a secondary color, and then maybe an accent color. So I would go through and I would consolidate the colors, maybe having one or two colors here. These would probably have a gray background or a white background. Might actually make sense for this to be just a little darker gray and have the text on white. Another thing I'm seeing is centered text here. Centered text, this isn't one of the most egregious cases. Usually with centered text, you don't want to go beyond 3 lines because it's hard for people to read. It's hard for people to read a lot of text when it's centered. It kind of makes your brain work a little bit harder. They've kind of kept it to 4 lines, maybe 5 lines for some of these. So I think that's okay. But anything beyond that, you really don't want to do. See what we can do. So this is a video. Okay, so this is nice. They have a little modal here. Maybe it should be more clear that this opens a video. I would maybe either put the video inline on the page, or have some text that says, hey, it's going to open a new modal window. And I would also see if we could make this video a bit bigger. Testimonials. Taking a look at this. This is a slider here. I would recommend these actually probably deserve a little bit bigger font here. And the names are kind of hard to read with the contrasting color. I would also give this testimonials area a bit more white space top and bottom, because right now it looks like everything's kind of squished together. And then this, sign up for a free newsletter. Unfortunately, it looks like their website's actually just having an issue connecting to the newsletter form. And then scrolling down to the bottom of the site, they've got a basic footer here. I don't like how the link gets bigger as you hover over it. And why is the link underlined on the top? Typically you underline your links on the bottom. But the footer, I think there's a lot more you can do with a footer. I would typically, when I design a footer, I have the logo on the left. Sometimes you have to reverse the colors of the logo to make it look good in the footer. And then I'll have the contact information again on the left. And then I'll have some links to the interior pages of the site. This is a missed opportunity to kind of relink to some of these pages. And then I might also have a email opt-in form if that's something that the business is participating in. So overall, I think that this website really could use a redesign with the issues that I've found. I think we're going to move on and take a look at some other sites and see what else we find in the local area. So jumping back over to our list, we're going to take a look at the next one on the list. If we open their website, so this website It's got a few things going on. Let's take a look. The first thing I see is the phone number, which it's good that they have their phone number kind of front and center. But it's very tiny and it's got all this space kind of to itself. I think with the amount of navigation they have here, it may make sense to have a secondary navigation, but I would actually add more in here. So this isn't just kind of standing by itself. I would have maybe an email address, maybe an address, maybe put the phone number and the email off to the left here and have a link to all the social media icons on the right here. Maybe a quick get a quote button in here. Maybe I would remove this bar and actually just put the phone number either above or below the navigation here. So looking at their navigation, looks like they have different services for residential and commercial roofing. So this navigation here, this isn't too bad as far as just structure. I like that they have the white behind it because it makes it more easy to see that. Looking at what they have, they don't have too many nav items. I like that they have this graphic in the background. They have a decent hero area. I would probably ensure that this says roofing in here because this is your headline. This is the most important, the first headline on the page is the most important thing that Google's going to see when coming to your website. And it's also the most important thing that visitors are going to see. So somebody who's clicked onto this website, like I clicked through searching for roofers, but if you just come across this website, it's not necessarily readily apparent that this is a website for roofers. So I would definitely call your local roofing experts in here. And then maybe add some text. I do like that they're calling out, that they're insured. I don't know if the license numbers are necessary here. I'd probably move those down to the footer. I'd maybe add a paragraph, just a few sentences about their roofing products. Taking a look, get a quote. I do like that there is this get a quote right front and center. Looking at this though, it does look a little bit squished. I would consider actually giving a little more room to this header area. Maybe having it come down to down to like 80% of the screen with the header plus the quote. Just because it looks like there's maybe things kind of being squished here. Looking at the rest of the site, they've kind of used a full width design. For something like this, I think this works. I do like that they have breaks in the text because you're not supposed to run your text super long. It makes it hard to read. It is a little weird that it's not actually lining up though. This kind of bothers me. I would ensure that this text lines up with this heading. And this also kind of bothers me too, this space at the bottom. I would actually pin these items to the bottom of the page. Scrolling down, it looks like they have done that for this next section. Scrolling here, I think this is okay. The break here, I'm not sure how I feel about this break because usually it's good to have white space, but it's a little bit odd. What I might consider is maybe alternating the placement of the text next to the image, maybe moving the image over to the left and having the text on the right for this case. I like the photo. I think there's too much black and white going on, too many storm photos though. I would recommend some kind of after photos, showing people the happiness of having a new roof. Client testimonials. It's good to have testimonials from clients on your sites, and I like that they're real names and you can go to the review. I would these are 3 different heights, so I would ensure that all of these boxes are actually the same height, and then just pin the name and view review to the bottom of the box. And also, again, with the centered text, it's hard to read centered text when there's too much of it. These are paragraphs of centered text, and the boxes really aren't big enough to kind of get a good stride going when reading the text. So I think we maybe move this to the left. Maybe figure out a different way to display these testimonials because they are kind of long. I think this might work if it's like a sentence or two, like like if it was just Seth was amazing, he was super helpful and very knowledgeable. That'd be a very nice short testimonial that could work with a center aligned layout. But this I think is too much. This I think it calls for displaying these a little bit differently. I do like the partner logos here. This is kind of nice, but I would maybe put some text about the partners. Like, these are the partners that we work with. We provide only the best quality materials, things like that. Just so people have a little more context. Like, I can tell, that these are their partners that they work with, but it may not be apparent to the average person. I like that they have the free quote form right front and center on the homepage. This here, though, I'm not sure this side-by-side works because there's a lot of empty space here on the right-hand side. So I would probably actually move the free quote form with this red background to take up the full width of the page and then be centered. And then I'd probably put this text either before or after the form. Scrolling down to the footer. This is another missed opportunity to have links to other parts of your site along with your logo again. I would have a logo here and then some more contact information and then links to the interior pages of the site. So I'd have maybe residential again and just list out all these pages so the user doesn't have to hover over them to get to it from the main nav. And then maybe commercial. There's enough room here where you could have 3 different columns of links. You could have residential, commercial, and then general information like about, gallery, testimonials, contact. Or you could have an email sign up. This pay your bill here, this is a bit confusing, I think, to users. Pay your bill here, it just has amount and pay. I don't know if putting an amount in is going to take me to like PayPal or if it's going to load up another page. If you did want to have this in your footer, I would recommend making this more clear, having instructions. But overall, I think there's a missed opportunity here in the footer to add some more links back to the site. So this I would say is better than the previous site that we looked at, but there's definitely room for improvement. There's definitely things that could be done better. I don't know I really kind of don't like this full width usage here with content kind of going almost to the edges of the screen. It just kind of bothers me a bit. I think it would make more of an impact if maybe things were a little bit tighter, the width of the site wasn't as wide, and you had more white space. But overall, my thoughts are this website's a little bit better than the previous one we looked at, but there's definitely things that could be improved for this site. One more thing, again, with this navigation, like the previous site, I would recommend probably a call to action button, whether that's contact us or get a quote. They do have one right here, but this is just on the home page. I think it'd be more powerful, especially with the sticky navigation, to have a button that the user could hit, get a quote, and it loads the get a quote form. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look at the next website. All right, so we're back to our map, and we're going to take a look at the next website on the list. Let's see what this company has to offer. Okay, so this website here, they're doing things a bit differently than the other sites. I really do like this called out get a quote button. Let's see what happens as you scroll. Okay, so that's pretty slick. They've got the address and the hours here. And that goes away as soon as you start to scroll. I really like that. That's pretty slick. Looking at the navigation here, I like the width here. Let's see. Yeah, looking at this guy, I mean, this is probably the best of the bunch so far. I don't know if I like the placement of the nav. It's kind of odd because this button, I see why they did this, but the button is all the way to the right, but there's this gap on the left. So my brain's kind of telling me that this nav should be more centered, but I see why they did it like this. I really do like the address and hours here on the top. The hero area, I like this roofing excellence built to last. You get a clear picture with the headline. What they do. I like the supporting text. I like that you can go right to their projects and that they have something for Google reviews. I'm not sure though if the image here really fits with roofing. I mean, I guess because you've got this warehouse, maybe it's a commercial roof and that's what they're trying to show. I think maybe if you had a picture of the guys actually putting on the roof, that would be more powerful. I really do like this contact us and get a free quote form just front and center as well. I think that's great, and the way that they kind of put it on top of the hero area here, I think that's great too. I think with this actually, because you've kind of defined your width of the site as being here, you could probably get more of the image if you move this text over to the left so it's lined up with here, and then you could have more visible image for the user to look at. Taking a look, let's see. I like that they have the services called out. I would recommend maybe having a paragraph break in here. Just looks like a lot of text. The user may not read that much text. I do like this. They did a good job with the photo here. Let's see, services provided. I like that they have the services listed here. It is a bit frustrating. Let me see. Yeah, so this is a slider. These guys were sliding. Yeah, so this slides, but I don't see a way to actually control the slider. Like, I don't see any arrows. Usually you don't want to make the user slide things. So yeah, what I would recommend here instead of this, because nothing's more frustrating, like if I start looking at re-roofing and it slides over and it goes away, I'm gonna get frustrated. So this is maybe an opportunity to have more of just a grid. And you can have a grid that's more than 3 or 4 columns. You can have it just extend down. So you can have a bigger grid, and I would also add a little bit of supporting text, like siding. Do you do siding for residential or commercial? I guess it says commercial here. So and they do have commercial in the logo. So I'm guessing that this website is more for like contractors and not the end user. Like if I need to have my house re-roofed, I don't think this is the company that I would go with, just because they do keep mentioning commercial. But I do think that there needs to be some filtering in here to kind of let users know. Like I'm getting the vibe that this is commercial only. Like I'm a contractor and I need these things. But maybe that's not what they're going for. And I think that just needs to be cleared up a bit. But going back to these, I think you could easily have a grid of these. And I probably would go 3 column, depending on how many services they have. It's hard to tell how many they have. They do have a lot of services. But yeah, this doesn't work because you have to, like, the only way to interact with this is to swipe, and it's kind of fighting me as I scroll, and it looks like it loops too, which can be bad. It can be bad from an accessibility perspective, and also I find myself, I'm finding myself seeing the same things over and over again, so I'm never actually able to reach the end. So I would move this out to a 3 column grid, add a sentence about each item, and then we have get a quote, Let's see, does services, yeah, services just goes here. So I think this page, let's see, is this website more than one page? Let's see. So we've got our gallery here. I was just curious, like if I hit services, okay, so yeah, so this just takes me back to the homepage. So this is a missed opportunity. I would recommend that each service has its own landing page, and that's going to not only be able to give more details to your users about your service and how you provide it. Maybe you want to list some ballpark prices, things like that. But it's also great for Google, because the more you can keep the user on your site and the more information you have for Google to crawl, it sends a strong signal to Google that the website contains valuable information. So if you get somebody who comes on your site, they go to the homepage and then they go to roof repair, and they start actually viewing a page, that tells Google that your site has good information, because the user stayed on your site longer than they would have with a design like this. Taking a look at the gallery, a lot of companies have galleries of their finished work. And a lot of times they don't provide context around what I'm looking at. Like if I click this, I can see a picture, I can see a roof, but I'm an idiot when it comes to roofing. I don't know anything about roofing. So I don't know what I'm looking at. Am I looking at, is this the finished product? Is this in progress? I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know how much this costs. When I see a gallery like this, the way this works is by adding some context. There really needs to be some context, like this is what we're doing, this is what you're seeing, this is how much it cost, because I'm looking at this as a person who knows nothing about roofing, and I don't know what I'm looking at, even though it's clear as day in the picture. I like that they have this process listed here. And this is actually pretty slick. There's a nice, cool, easy to do animation that you can do in CSS. And this is nice and short and simple. I think, let's see, the contact us button. I think there's a missed opportunity here to have a call to action, like get started or something that's clear. This is how we do the process, because these aren't clickable or anything. I think there does need to be a call to action here, and they do have contact us. But I think contact us is kind of a generic call to action. I would say, like get a quote or get started, something that kind of prods the user to start the process. Okay, so this kind of clears up what I was talking about before, about them, do they only do commercial roofing? So they have on here, we also do residential roofing. So this really should have been cleared up earlier in the site, because if I'm viewing the site and it's like I need a new roof for my house, and I get here, I see commercial. The second I see commercial roofing, I'm leaving the site. So the users aren't going to get, if they get past that, they're going to see this commercial. So the users don't really have a chance to get to the residential roofing. So I think the way that you handle this is you either divide up your site into two separate sections of commercial and residential, or you maybe even have two separate sites, one for the commercial aspect of your business and one for the residential. Testimonials here. I do like that they have testimonials. These buttons are really tiny. I would recommend these be at least double the size. Centered text, but it is within 3 lines, so that's okay. I think this is pretty good. And their footer, I think they did a good job with their footer. Unlike the other websites that I mentioned, they do have the logo again. They've got going right to the Google reviews, so that's really powerful. They have the contact info listed again, and then they have the links to the interior pages of their site listed again. So I think this design is probably the best of the 3. Although my main criticisms, I think, are just the commercial aspect of the roofing. It can be more clear. If you are doing residential roofing, that needs to be separated out. Because a user who comes and needs a new roof for their house, they're going to see commercial, 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 and then there's kind of just this little thing at the bottom. We also do residential, but the user's probably not going to make it to that point. And then the services area, I think that's a missed opportunity to have different landing pages for each of the services, which is going to give your users more information about what you do, as well as give Google a way to crawl those pages of your site, and that's going to improve your ranking in the Google algorithm. Okay, so I think we're going to take a look at one more website. So the next one on the list is this one. So we're going to load up their website. So this one, okay, so seeing a few things here. I do like the logo here. The contact button, it's a little odd that it's in this position. I would really move this contact button over to the right here next to FAQ. There's also, if you look, there's some text there. It says roofing and exteriors, but it's very hard to see. Another thing I see right away is the cursor. Look, it's moving around. It's this little home icon. Do not change the user's cursor. Users expect the mouse to be the mouse. So putting a icon or a graphic on the cursor is something you don't want to do just from an accessibility standpoint. I know it looks cool, but the user might be wondering, where is my mouse? And they have to move it around. And then it's changing too. Like you hover, you get the little pointer, but you've got this little home icon. It can be confusing. This video here, it's got this checkerboard pattern. I'm not sure why it's got this checkerboard pattern. I'm assuming that's done so that it can be more easily read with the text. I'm not really liking this font here, but I do like that they have roofing and exteriors here. I think maybe there's a missed opportunity to add a little bit of text about what you do. But overall, I do like the use of video. I think it's a cool video, and the video is good because you've got your action kind of in the center. One of the things is when you do a video like this, as your screen shrinks down, it's going to cut from the left and right. So I think the use of video is pretty cool. This is something that's easy to do. I, though, would rethink the text here, probably put Randall & Sons Roofers or something, and maybe reduce the font size of this a little bit, maybe add a little bit of supporting text, and have a call to action button right here. Let's see, if we take a look, this text, I feel like this is pretty big. Looking at this, I do like this video here. This is pretty cool, how they have this storm video overlaid with this. This is a pretty cool layout. The color, the shift of colors, this actually works pretty well, I think, in this design, because you've got your black and your white, and they do have a lot of good white space. Looking at this, let's see. So they do have they have this overlay effect, which is kind of cool. These can be kind of tricky to implement. But they do have a cool effect, but it's a little bit frustrating because they're doing something again. They're kind of hijacking the scroll. Like it's not working the same way as your scroll typically would. So I wonder if there's some accessibility issues with this. And it's odd too that once you reach this section, the sticky nav goes away. I do like the alternating design though on this. Scrolling down, the animation, that's kind of cool. I'm usually not a fan of animations, but these guys have done it. It's been done in kind of a classy way. Text is really big. Let's see, scrolling back up, like it looks like that's their main header font size. I'm usually not a fan of super big text because you can see this is like taking up the whole page. But it does look good. I think this text here, like, it almost gets to a point where it's too big though, and it's hard for your eyes to read it. At least with me. And then this text is very tiny down here. So maybe reworking this section. This here. This video here, this is pretty cool. I would worry about the flashes though. I would worry about like epilepsy, having something like that. I don't know if that's a concern. Scrolling down, okay, so there's something, yeah, so there's something going on with the video and the overlay, because you're going from the video and then you're getting this windows bleeding through. So yeah, sometimes when you implement these kind of sliding in cards, you can get some glitches, just because you have to position things kind of in a weird way on the screen to kind of hijack the scroll behavior. So you can see we got the video, but Windows is bleeding through. And then scrolling through to this map, I'm not sure why they chose this dark color. Maybe this is because maybe it's just because it fits with the rest of their site, but they are using white on their site, so I think having a standard Google map would be fine. I think this other text on the map, especially gray on gray, things like that, is hard to read. And I'm not sure that a map actually makes sense, because people aren't going to be going, unless you have a showroom, people aren't going to be going to your roofing business. I think maybe a service map, like a service area map, that had a different area highlighted would be good. Let's see, do they have a highlight? No, they just have a pin. Like if they had a circle around the area that they service, I think that would be a good use for a map. But unless your business has a physical location, I wouldn't recommend actually putting a map on the page, unless maybe if it's like a generalized area. But in that case, if you're just showing a generalized area, I do more of just a screenshot of the map rather than an interactive map, just to show the general area. Like this, people can go around and play and find their house and things like that, but it really doesn't provide much information, unless you have a showroom that people are going to go to. Scrolling down, let's see. So this is pretty cool. I like that they list some information about their company, but I think there's an opportunity to have some supporting text. It's kind of mixed matched because we've got employees, production crews, number of 5-star reviews. Maybe all the things should be about the same topic. So if you want to talk about the number of people, maybe years of experience, something like that. I'm not sure that you can go from employees to crews to 5-star reviews because those things are not really tied to each other. And then let's see, scrolling down, follow us on Facebook and Google reviews. These are really big. I think this could be reworked differently. Industry partners. So this is something, if you're going to list partners on your site, please get high-res images from your partners. You can see these images are showing up blurry here. So if you're going to list your partners, get high-res images, usually an SVG image. And if you can't do that, then you want to ensure that whatever size you're showing your images at are not blurry. Not sure why there's all this white space on the left here. Normally having extra white space is good, but this, just because this takes up the full area, this kind of just looks broken because there's some empty space here. And then schedule a free inspection. So this form is entirely way too long. I would condense this down, lock it at a width of like 750 pixels. Put these first and last name, and phone and address fields maybe next to each other because these are just really long. I think this is a good missed opportunity to have more white space. Just little things like the line right before the submit button. The line kind of tells the user that this is something separate, but we want the user to know that the submit button is associated with this form. And then scrolling down to the footer, this animation here is a little distracting as I'm trying to read this. And again, this is a missed opportunity. You can have links to all of your interior pages in your footer, and that's not there. So overall, this website, there's some things I think that can be fixed. I'm not a fan of hijacking default browser functionality like the scroll. Anything that locks your scroll in place can cause accessibility issues. Taking over the mouse with this cursor can cause accessibility issues for people. So yeah, definitely things on this website that can be improved. But overall, it's okay, but not the way I would have built it. I think that is going to conclude our video for today. If you like this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're in need of a website design, my name is Brandon, and I run a company called Your Right Website, and you can find me online at www.yourrightwebsite.com. I would be happy to sit down with you and have a free consultation and put together a professional website for you. I've been developing websites for over 15 years now, so I have a lot of experience. I've worked with large companies, large organizations in previous work, and now I'm running my own web design company, and I would love to make your small business have a beautiful and functional website that's going to solve problems for your business. So if you're interested in that, you can reach me at yourrightwebsite.com, or just comment in the comments, review my website. If you put that in the comments, I will see that, and I will DM you on YouTube. So if you want me to reach out to you, just put review my website in the comments. And then I'll reach out to you, take a look at your website, and we can get a free consultation scheduled. So hopefully this video was fun and entertaining, and hopefully you learned something about web design. Until the next time, my name is Brandon, and this has been a video from Your Right Website.